The message I'm teaching about is called food for the stomach. Say food for the stomach. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Say food for the stomach. And we're going to look for things which I've never heard of. And I believe tonight you're going to have a good understanding. And I'm going to unlock your fasting life. That every fasting you ever did or you ever do from now, if you finish your fasting, you'll be seeing results. Who wants to learn that? Who wants to learn that? All right, so let's go to John chapter 4. John chapter 4. From verse 33. The Bible says, therefore said the disciples one to another, has any man brought him aught to eat? Now, for you to understand better, let's go to NKJV, the New King James Version. I want to show you something there, which is very important. Therefore the disciples said to one another, has anyone brought him anything to eat? Has anyone? They marveled. They were surprised to see that this man, Jesus, he told them to go and buy food. He said, go and buy food. So all the disciples went to buy food. And Jesus Christ immediately ventured into fasting. Now, he stayed the whole day without eating anything. Now, the disciples were surprised. Has anyone brought him food? Something to eat? Has anyone? Now, the Bible says, when they were asking one another, it is because they were shocked. They were surprised. And I want you to understand that the man we're talking about here, he is not a human being. Yes, he has manifested in a human flesh. But yet he's the Son of God. And his name is Jesus, who is in the Trinity of the Father. Oh, are you there? Yes. Yet when he comes on earth, he knows the power of fasting. I thought he's God already. I thought he's powerful already. He doesn't need to fast anymore. But he understands the power of fasting. And listen to me. At that moment, Jesus Christ went to Samaria. And don't forget, Samaria was a city which had people who were half caste, half Jews and half Gentiles. So there was a particular time where the Israelites were captured to go to Babylon, where there was Nebuchadnezzar. Right there were some who got married to the people of Babylon, which is our present Iraq. Now, when they got married there, the children which were born in there were half Jews and half Gentiles. Now, when they went back to Israel, they also who were half caste were taken along, but they were not allowed to live in Israel. So they were living in Samaria. So they also had the rights of being called the seed of Abraham. But there was an enmity between the two camps. Huge enmity. And if we dig the Bible from the history background, you will find out that there was a particular time whereby all the males of Samaria were all killed because there was one Samaritan who had raped one child from Israel. And there was an order to kill all men in Samaria. So because of that, there was an enmity between these two camps. So there was no visitation. One, we are seeing the issue where all men in Samaria were killed. Don't forget that statement. Two, we are seeing the statement whereby they are half caste. So there is an issue here of racism. So there was no visitation. Yet the Samaritans, the people from Samaria, they also were also having the rights. That's why the woman told Jesus openly. She said to him, our forefather Jacob dug this well. Yet some Jacob means Israel. So these people share the same ancestor. But they had differences, they had problems. And there was no way where a Jew and Israel could go and preach in Samaria. There was completely no way. And Jesus, who wants to win the whole city of Samaria, to lead them to Christ, to himself, he looks his disciples, they're all eating, they're in the flesh. Then he says, what would I do here? Then Jesus goes into fasting. Oh, you're not following. Did you hear this? Then Jesus goes into fasting. He understands there is no one who can break the enmity between the two. No one. Then he goes into fasting. Then he goes on the well where there was a woman. The whole chapter, John chapter 4, it talks of the woman. Then he finds the woman fetching water. Then he says, can you give me water? And the woman is surprised. The woman says, there is no visitation between the Jews. Are you here? Yeah. There's no visitation between us, the Jews and the Samaritans. There's no visitation. She spoke to him. There is no complete visitation. Listen to me. There may be no connection in your life. There may be completely a blackout in your life. But where fasting is involved, ladies and gentlemen, where fasting is involved, am I talking to somebody here? Now, the woman, she tells Jesus, it's impossible. And remember, if Jesus goes to Samaria, he will be stoned. Hello? If Jesus goes to Samaria, he will be what? And he can't tell them about himself. They will stone him. Imagine this woman was so rude to him. But Jesus was in what? In the fasting. Now the Bible says, therefore the disciples said unto him, one another, has anyone brought him anything to eat? Verse 34. Jesus said to them, my food is to do the will of God who sent me and to finish his work. So fasting, it is also called the will of God. I'm talking to people who are hearing, right? So fasting is also called what? The will of God. We're going. So Jesus said, my food is to do the will of God and to finish. Which means Jesus' mind was to win the souls of Samaria. While the disciples, all they were thinking was to feed their stomach. Did you hear me? Did you hear me? Then when we go to verse 11, from verse 11, the Bible says, the woman said to him, sir, you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where then do you get that living water? Now, the woman is telling Jesus, because Jesus tells this woman, he says, woman, I don't need your water. I have water which is living. And the woman said, where do you get that water? And you have nothing to draw water from. How? Now, verse 12 says, are you greater than our father Jacob? What I told you, that there was a connection. All of them, they had the same background. Who gave us the well and drank from it himself, as well as his sons and his livestock? Verse 13. Jesus answered and said to her, whoever drinks of this water will thirst again. Whoever drinks of the physical water at your house, the water in the bottle which you buy in your shops, will what? Thirst again. 14. But whoever drinks of the water that I shall give him, which is a spiritual thirsty. So fasting, it is it's an act of spiritual hunger and a spiritual what? Thirst. It says, whosoever drinks of this water that I shall give him will never thirst. But the water that I shall give him will become in him a fountain of water springing up. Right as you are fasting, there is a new water that God puts inside of you. I'm talking to the wrong people. I think let me go this direction. There is a spring of water. That's what the Bible says. Out of your belly shall rivers of what? Living water come out of you. That's why I can approach a person, he's going to fall down. Why? Because he's hit by the water from me. So when you fast, there is food, there is a spiritual drink that comes in your system. I'm talking to the right people here. It's a food for the stomach. It's a real food. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me, somebody? Now, so this is it. The Bible says, but the water that I shall give him will become in him a fountain of water. Imagine where you are sitting, you are just having a fountain of water. So what happened? So Jesus Christ goes into fasting. And then he meets this woman in fasting. There is a possible reason why Jesus Christ sent his disciples away. Are you hearing me? There is a what? A possible reason. Can you hear me? There's a what? There's a possible reason why Jesus could send his disciples away. Because they were in the flesh. And Jesus wants to win the whole city. They're all eating. Jesus wants to break the barrier. In your family there's a barrier. A particular barrier. That no one goes to university. That no one ever bought a house or built a house, a nice house. All of you are all renting. No one in your family ever got rich. All of you are struggling. There is a barrier that all of you reach a particular level and you fail to go beyond that level. There's a barrier of getting marriage breakthrough. So Jesus wants to break this barrier and he goes into fasting. You're not even hearing me. And all the people who were with Jesus, they are not even fasting. We hear the Bible saying they all went to a market to buy food, leaving him alone. Now, you are here, right? So when you are fasting, listen to me. When you are fasting, there is this new thing. That's why Jesus Christ, when he was fasting, he had living water in him. And he even told the woman, he said, woman, it is me having the water. Did you hear that? He said, it is me having the water and I can give you. And the woman said to him, give me this water. And the Bible says that Jesus began to prophesy. Which means the water was what? Prophecy. The reason why we have people who have no word from God, no revelation, no vision in them, it is because they don't live a fasted life. I'm talking to the wrong people here. So they are full of their own understanding, full of their own thinking, full of their own reasoning, and full